And we saw where that got them. Okay. The bottom line is this: they need to come up with their own type of innovation. Notice I don't say gimmick. They need their own innovation, something that allows the user.
Gimmick and innovation is a blurred line. Let's be real.
It's a blurred line, but there's still a line.
True.
But the thing is, like, they need to come up with something that has the user basically interact with their system that's different, that's unique. You know what I'm saying? They need to try to bring gaming to another level. We already seen VR. VR is something that we've imagined for the longest time since the days of Tron. Okay?
Yeah.
So I mean, it's really nothing new, the concept. The execution is what's new.
And I'll be honest. What was the Xbox One? What did the Xbox One bring to the table that the 360 didn't?
X86 graphics processors.
There you go.
And the PS4, what did it bring new to the table?
X86 graphics processors.
I
You
feel
guys
fine
know-
here for some strange reason.
The irony being that the Nintendo Switch you could easily port to it, and it's not an x86 per se, because there's ARM in there as far as the CPU.
Well, it looks like we're live. We might as well introduce ourselves.
Oh, that's the one live without telling us.
My name's Kanashi Abominito, here to say that I've had so much gruel this gaming generation. It seems like gaming has become a prison sentence.
Mm.
Well, well,
I don't know about you. I got a Switch. I'm free.
actually, the Switch is pretty dope. It is my dream finally came true, and I have a portable slash console at the same time. This is like the first time I can take Zelda like to Breath of the Wild to my school and to when I had to go to the hospital with my dad and all that stuff. Like it's a really convenient console.
Man, please. I already got a portable console. It's called my cell phone.
Oh, please. Don't even start that. Don't even start that. Oh, I flick my finger up and it jumps gaming
No, no,
as
no,
a
no, no.
substitute.
I got Fire Emblem Heroes and Final Fantasy Brave Exvius. Ah! But anyway, seriously. Though,
Get when the real
please don't
Fire
make
Emblem
questions.
comes out. Get when the real Fire Emblems come
Oh,
out.
yeah, well, of course. Well, the real Fire Emblem is still better than a friggin' mobile game. Let's be real. But a mobile game is entertaining, and I can take it anywhere.
Yeah, true. I could take my Switch anywhere.
I don't know if you want to take a Switch in the pooper.
What
You never-
about that? What about that Scorpio? What about the Scorpio, everybody?
Oh no, the
Oh.
Scorpio is an amazing system. I mean, have you seen all that power? I mean, I can finally see real superhuman like realistic main characters in video games, and
Yeah. Wow. Dude,
Can ask me if I give a. Please ask
thank
me
you.
if I give
Thank
a.
you, dude. Not for nothing, but like I said, sitting up here chasing the graphics of dragons yet again. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's not gonna fix a damn thing. That's for sure. It's not
I'll,
gonna fix a freaking
what
thing.
you know what, you guys, I got one real question here, just one. Where are the games?
there
Yeah,
Until
are
it gets to
no
RAM again.
games.
And this time they actually get the full 8 gigs. That's because it has 12 gigs of RAM. Now they have
I
full
got
8
a, I
gigs
got
of
a
RAM.
question for you, Doc. Where are you on Splatoon?
I'm on the podcast, man. You taught me last time, don't game while on the podcast.
Well, you set up the Splatoon event the exact same time as the podcast.
Yeah, but that's before the Scorpio stuff came out.
Oh
That,
Lord.
Okay,
that
that's
you
fine. I'll play Splatoon by myself. It's all good. I'm wrecking these noobs
So-
in the meantime.
So
That-
why did they re-announce the Scorpio with all these bells and whistles and no games? Why don't they announce any games like
Because
Nintendo did with the Switch?
because remember,
Okay, cut off shit. Let me ask you a
hold on,
question.
let me jump in. Let me jump in. It's because it's a .75 console. It is not a new generation. So in other words, you're basically playing the same exact games you played on your Xbox One that you played on your Xbox One S and so on.
Well, the
But
console is
it's like
equivalent
adding an
to
extra buff.
the,
It's like
the
basically adding an extra buff. Say you got a 2016 car,
the
you just
console is
rotate.
equivalent. The console is equivalent to. Apparently, it's supposed to be equivalent to like a 1080 or 1070, and the older consoles were like GTX 480. So it seems to be a pretty big leap from going to a 480 to a 1080.
Okay, and
No,
how would that help
what?
Mass Effect?
But let me tell you why.
No,
Let me tell
like
you
I
why they
said
came
before,
out.
it's not going to help.
Let me tell you why they came out, and they mentioned specs but no games. What has sold the most this
Listen,
generation?
don't you know the
Specs.
rule?
Third
Who
party.
gives a damn about exactly games? It's all about how many
No,
titty flops you got. If
real
you ain't got no titty,
gamers, real gamers worried about specs, not about games.
A lot of gamers actually
exactly. See,
purchased a PS4 just because it had GDDR5.
No, that's not true. I actually don't think that's true. I think that's
I don't think
no,
real gamers
actually,
did.
false. Okay, let's be real. Most of the people that bought the PlayStation 4 didn't know squat. They just know it was a PS4.
no.
No,
I
I'm
don't.
saying,
I don't
no,
think.
No,
I'm,
no, no,
no,
no. I'm
Wait
talking
a
about.
second.
I'm
I'm talking
talking
about
about
what
for
a,
real.
what
I
a
don't.
check is. In
Yeah,
regards to the
Yeah.
check is, what's the one thing we always hear when it comes to comparisons between the PS4 and the Xbox One? That the
Yeah.
PS4
Look.
version looks better or is more
Look.
capable
Look.
because it's a more powerful console. But the only
Look.
difference between the two, if you look at them both side by side and break them down, what is the one difference that both these consoles between both these consoles? The
Look.
PlayStation 4 uses GDDR5. The Xbox One does not.
The thing about the PlayStation, the whole PlayStation 4 and Xbox One graphics comparison is overblown. That's a small minority of people.
No, that's
If
a
the
huge
PS4
majority of people.
if the
no, 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 no,
PS4
no, no.
look if the
Listen, you
PS
can't rate the whole gaming community on
hey
these idiots on the online
let me
website.
finish what I'm trying to say.
No,
If the
because you keep cutting me off
PS4
too.
if if the PlayStation 4 if the PlayStation 4 was if it was all about power, then why isn't the Pro outselling the Slim?
Hmm.
Well, you know why
People
it's
care
not.
more about people care more
To
about
me,
price than they do about specs.
It
Be
was
honest with you.
price and the fact that Microsoft was screwing people over with no lube. That's it.
Not only that, you have to keep in mind, we the vocal ones are not the big part of the community. Most people who buy these consoles don't really know much other than what's thrown in your face all the time. So advertisement speaks volumes. Most of the people that buy PS4, I can tell you, most of my friends that have a PS4, they don't really know how powerful the system is. They just know it's much more powerful than the old one, and it can do some cooler stuff. And it brings out the newer games. That's the fact of it. Most gamers don't know squat. We are the minority. We're like the 1.3% of the gamers that actually follow specs, follow games in details. The truth is, a lot of people just go to GameStop or Best Buy and say, hey, what's new?
And I can agree with the Good Shepherd because if you seen the PS4 had the most in-your-face advertisement out of all three consoles last gen. So it actually makes sense that it was bought a lot. It was sold a lot because to most consumers they will see all this for the fucking advertisement from the PS4, and they will say, "Oh well, this is the console to get," and they will just buy it. But that same reason is why the PS4 has a really horrible attach rate too, because most
Mm-hmm.
people just buy it for the few popular games that comes out, and they don't really care about the niche games the system has.
I have a question. What
It's
the
a
heck is
party
the Scorpio
console.
gonna fix?
It's a party console.
What is the Scorpio gonna fix besides? And even still, what does the Scorpio fix?
It
What
doesn't really
problems does it
fix.
solve
It doesn't really
besides?
solve any problem. It just makes the games run.
Because we're still gonna get bad deals when it comes to games.
So you guys,
People are still gonna cut out content.
you guys
We're
aren't
still,
looking. You guys aren't looking at the big picture. Phil Spencer said it himself. This console is to win the trust back of the developers. That takes me back to an event that was done by Steve batshit crazy Ballmer many years ago, where he ran out on stage screaming like a madman, running around screaming, "Developers, developers, developers." The problem with that statement, as then as it is now, is that a console is for your customers, not developers.
The reason why they
That's
do
a
it that way is
good.
they suck at
That's
making their
good.
own games. Let's be
Well,
real. That's why they have to cater so much to developers.
and not just that, Phil Spencer himself said, "Oh, there's not going to be any Xbox Scorpio exclusives." so,
So
so
he's
you
lying for one thing.
Wait,
I can already tell you he's
what?
lying.
so you have a console where there will be no exclusives, but is basically because I did the math because right now everyone's projecting that it's going to be $499 with tax. Let's say $550, depending on where you live. And then you factor in the cost of a couple of games, an extra controller, Xbox Live. You're looking at $800. Basically, for $800, by the time the Scorpio comes out, you can probably get yourself a mid-range gaming PC that has better specs than this thing. Plus, you'll have more freedom and you'll be able to get games cheaper. So, I ask you, why should anyone get an Xbox Scorpio?
Mass Effect.
You mean Ass Effect, don't you?
Oh,
But they're
Ass Effect
fixing it.
Andromeda.
They're patching it.
And you know what's sad? I have that game.
they changed that game to an alpha after being sold. Are you kidding me?
Well, I mean, people pull down their pants and basically are poo-pooing on that game. But let's not forget, like, if you've been into PC gaming for the last 10, 15, 20 years, PC games have always been like that, where
True enough.
over time the game would get better. So
Look,
if you want to point the fingers at someone, point the finger at the console manufacturer who popped up and said, "Hey guys, we're gonna make consoles more PC-like. We're gonna give you a hard drive so you can put some broken shit on your system and then fix it after the fact instead of it being ready."
Isn't that Microsoft?
Well,
The
I
ones
mean,
who
hey,
did
they're
that?
coming out with another console later this year. It's gonna be great, y'all, for the developers.
And I'll be honest, people will bitch at the Switch hard drive having little memory, but I was downloading Persona 5 digitally, and I had no more space on my PS4 because most PS4 games are like 50 gigs to like 60 gigs in size.
No, don't lie. They start around 20 gigs up to 60 gigs.
the thing about Mass Effect, people who are crapping on the game are the same people who purchased the game. So I don't get what the heck's the problem. How many times does EA have to horse kick you in the gut before you take them out to the woodshed and turn them into glue? Like,
Yeah, but I'm gonna defend EA here. I'm
What?
gonna defend EA. Yes.
What?
I know. Slap me. Hey, who am I? And where do let's go?
Let him defend it. This is going to be interesting. Go.
Okay. Here's why I'm gonna defend EA. Right. Because for years before these PC-like consoles came out, these companies made a game and then they put it out. Like, they made it and they put it out on a console, and it was relatively complete. If something was so game-breaking, then you'd have other versions of the game come out. So like a 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. And there were games even back during the 4th and 3rd gen that did that. So, and EA was around back then. They did the same thing too. They had multiple versions of the games. But here's the thing. At the end of the 6th gen, when these PC-like consoles came about, gamers bought these games and accepted this bullshit. They accepted it. They said, "Oh yeah, you can give us an incomplete product and fix it after the fact." And it's been 6th gen, 7th gen, all of 8th gen. I mean, they've been accepting it. So why complain now?
I've been complaining for the past several gens, but it's like, what other industry? Why is it in gaming it's okay to get a half-baked product, but when you go to a bakery and your donut's not completely finished or the cookies are still pretty doughy, it's a problem. You want your money back. But when it comes to gaming, it's fine. They'll patch it later.
Because gamers are cheap.
Yeah, we'll
That
fix that later, man. Yeah.
because gamers are sheeple. That could be the case.
I mean,
I don't
this
know.
year it's
The
Mass
answer's gotta
Effect
be fun.
Andromeda, but remember, 2 years ago it was Assassin's Creed Unity. Unity. Remember that one? Or looking at EA. You know how
Assassin's
Battlefield
Glitch
4 is still broken, like it hasn't been fixed, and
broke.
and
You
third
know.
and third parties are first parties aren't immune either because the Master Chief Collection is still broken. Like it's still a broken game. It's still broken.
How can you broke a collection of all games?
Well,
Well,
Microsoft found a way.
God, I can compose myself all this bullshit.
Well, I
no,
mean,
because
look, man, you might have to go outside and air it out because it's a lot of. Look, to quote Ian Malcolm from Jurassic Park when he sees the Triceratops' poop, that's a lot of shit.
Guys, I wanted to ask you something now that we're in the mood. What do you think about people saying that the Switch is not an next-gen console?
They don't know what they're talking about. It's
yeah,
the whole generation thing. You know,
no,
they
he was
haven't stuck
right.
in their head its power.
Listen, listen, they're right. There is no next gen console because next gen consoles have halfway made games that are all jacked the hell up. It doesn't reach anywhere near the specs or performance that it's supposed to. So you're right. The Switch isn't a next gen console because it doesn't do any of
Suppose
those things.
supposedly the Switch is they say that the Switch does not feel like a next-gen console. It feels like a tweak Wii U.
Well, I mean, it's more like a Super Wii U that you can take that has a greater range than your Wii U. Because I mean, like for me, the Wii U was next gen. Because any time that I could basically take my I can continue playing my game while I go to the bathroom or whatever. Like that's next gen to me. But I can still do that with the Switch. So it's like, I mean, you're right. It really isn't next gen. It's more of a half gen console, but Nintendo rebranded it and made it look more attractive,
So,
which is good for their marketing. Really, that's wonderful.
so the
Let me read the
ninth
further
gen
side.
doesn't exist then.
Nope,
The 8th gen don't exist either.
nope.
This is
Well, no, we're still in the eighth gen. Right now, we're still in the eighth gen.
well, I mean, officially we're in the 8th gen, but I'm just saying performance wise we're not.
Well, no. I mean, if you believed, because normally, like, I remember back in the day when a new generation began, we were like, man, look at this awesome new stuff. Like, look at the new games we'll be able to get. Like the jump from the NES to the SNES, it was like, man, we got new stuff. Look at all these new styles of gameplay. And from the 16 to the 32 slash
Isometric gameplay.
64 to the 64 to the sub HD. I mean, it was great. And then for some reason in the seventh gen, it just all went so wrong.
But why does Nintendo like? I always wonder that. Why does Nintendo doesn't focus on power? I never have gotten that side of Nintendo.
Because it's expensive.
Yeah, they're about efficiency. Why let's
Yeah,
one?
Well,
Because
he's
the thing
being
is
he's
this,
being
even
nice. They're cheap. Okay.
no, but listen, let's be real. It works for them. I mean, it may not work with their popularity, but it works for them as a business.
Yep.
They, and you have to. I mean, that's what people don't think about. So it's up to them. Do you want to be popular? Do you want to make profit?
Yep. And that's a dirty word, but really, yeah. Do you want to? I mean, do you want to be popular or do you want to make money? And like, here's the thing. I recently did a news video where I talked about how the CEO of Square Enix is like, well, we're gonna extend the life of our games by having DLC and supporting after the fact. And I was reading it and I'm like, if you lowered the cost to make your games, your DLC would be gravy on top of you already turning a profit instead of you having to use DLC to keep people interested in order to sell enough to hopefully make your money back. Like it.
how much? I want to say something, but I kind of forgot. Let me see. Oh, that's what. But let's be honest. How much money can DLC extend from a game sales?
Um,
Can you save a game that requires like 50 million copies sold if I can put riveting DLC packs like for people to buy so they can make even on that game? That's my question. Like,
um,
can DLC make a game profit even if the original sales of the game didn't profit?
not really. No.
No, no. They make a little bit of money here and there, but it's never enough to compensate.
Yep.
Yeah, because I always wondered, like, with all those over budgeted games that had a lot of DLC, like Watchdog, like, though they really do that so they can make like a fraction of what they lost by not selling what they're supposed to be selling, so they nickel and dime you so like and they can
This,
profit.
this,
It,
this
it
always
is,
seems to work. DLC gives them a few little dollars here and there. It also creates hype for the original product. So people who don't have the game might turn on and pick up the game plus the DLC. Now,
Yep.
that's basically what they're trying to do. What actually happens is a different story.
Now we're not saying that DLC within and of itself is bad. We
it's
aren't.
how it
It's
is
not.
how it's how
It's how
it's
it's implemented.
implemented.
Yep,
Exactly.
exactly.
It's how it's implemented. Like
Like,
basically, if you look at DLC the way it used to be, and I mean, I know people are going to say, well, it's you said earlier that these consoles are becoming more PC like, but DLC started on PC, except they weren't. It wasn't like just a little bit here, a little bit there. Literally, they would add 33 to 40 to 50% more game, and they called them expansion packs. It's like, well,
The
you
good
like
old
Duke Nukem.
expansion pack.
Here's 30% more Duke Nukem 3D.
Oh,
Boom.
I've missed the.
Yeah.
Well, if
Here's
you
Here's
think
horse
about it,
heaven.
Hyrule
you
Warriors had expansion packs.
yeah, you like StarCraft? Well, here's 50% more StarCraft. Brood War, bitches. I mean,
Evolve has an expansion pack.
no, we're not going there. We're not going there.
Remember that?
Oh, that game
How many?
pissed me off. No, dude, I wanted that game. I really did.
So did
And then
I.
the game came out, and I was like, what is this?
I wanted it too. I literally, when Evolve came out, I was like, really? It's from the guys who made Left 4 Dead. And like when I first saw it, I'm like, okay, so this is basically me Left 4 Dead except in a sci-fi setting. And had they stuck with that premise, they would have made a good game. But
Hell
instead,
yeah.
instead they were like, hey guys, we're gonna make a game that's built around screwing over customers and nickel and diming them for microtransactions.
That's isn't that how third parties are supposed to operate?
How many?
Well,
How
here's the
many
thing. At least they were
money?
honest. At least they came right out and said, "Look, we're gonna nickel and dime you to death with microtransactions." Because so many other companies just like lie. They obfuscate. They don't tell you what's going on. But they were out in the open, and I got to give credit to people who openly tell you, "Look, we're gonna screw you over."
Hold on, what kind of you
You
guys
need to
talking
go
about?
talk to Ivanka Trump and teach her how to use words properly.
How much money did the Evolve DLC cost? I forgot.
Well, the
Well,
base
I
game
know
was
if you wanted all of it, it was like well over $100.
No,
no, the base game was $60, and they added up all the like if you got the special edition that was like $250 that was supposed to like give you access to everything, there was still on top of that like $50 worth of monsters you couldn't get. So basically, once you tallied up everything, like once they got evolved to the point where now it's practically dead, there's like $500 worth of DLC for that game. On top of the
Damn.
$60 for the
At
base
least it's
game.
better than that train DLC that you see over there on Steam that has like thousands and thousands of dollars worth of DLC.
Yeah, I mean look, I understand that gaming has gotten more and more expensive to make the games, but the amount of money, like it hasn't kept in step with how much the people need to be paid in order to make the game and all that type of stuff. Inflation has kind of caught up with it, but I mean, do you have to? I mean, just like get your budgets under control. If Nintendo can do it, and these indie studios can do it, there's nothing stopping the mid tier and top tier studios
The
from getting
problem
their shit under
the
control.
problem is that the gamer market, like gamers want, gamer wants flashier. Gamers are, well, at least the gamers I know, like more style over substance. They like their game flashy. They like their game that look pretty. And if third parties keep their budgets under control, that the game will not look like the mainstream gamers will like them, and they could lose their popularity contest. I
Here's what
mean,
I
Yeah,
say
it's a
about that,
shame.
man. Like, to me, if they didn't have an example before, but I'm going to give an example, from the 8th gen. Look at Mario Kart 8. Now, I'm pretty sure that was one of Nintendo's biggest budget titles. Not the biggest, but I'm pretty sure it was one of them. That game sold over 1 million units over the weekend. This is on a floundering console. It's gone on to sell nearly 9 million units, and it's about to get a re-release
Nice.
on their new console.
Nice.
Now, if you look at this game, Nintendo kept their budget under control and made bonkers amount of money.
Hey guys,
Look at that, and,
real
then,
quick.
and even more intensive than that. Look at Breath of the Wild. This game pretty much blows any other open world game, even Grand Theft Auto 5 and Witcher, out of the water. It is way more interactive than any game. I'm not sure if you guys seen that video where they actually compared Horizon to Breath of the Wild as far as interactivity with the environment. Horizon has none. When you step in the water, there's no splashes. When you swing your sword around a tree or whatever, there is no tree falling down. Nothing. It has no interactivity with the environment whatsoever. As
Really?
it,
I
as
didn't know
it,
it was that bad.
as extensive and intensive as this game is, this is, I think, according to Liger, this is Nintendo's biggest budget title ever. And yet Nintendo said, for the game to be profitable, we need to sell around 2 million units. They sold that already.
Yep.
And the Switch got about 1.5 million of that alone. That's actually not the Wii U.
And the
So
Wii U is about 2, so it's
but
already probably around
but
3.5, 3 million.
Doctor, that raises a question. Why does Final Fantasy 15 has to sell that much if they're both like open world games?
Well, like Liger said,
Well,
and he's an insider for the most part. He said that Final Fantasy 15 they blew their budget about 5 times.
I
Yep.
guess
hey
that
guys,
game's been.
guys, click that link that I posted in the chat. Take a good look at the section where it says DLC.
Yeah, I saw it, and I'm once again going to defend this. I know.
$6,000 worth of DLC you can defend. Okay, I got it. Here it is.
Okay, I'm gonna defend it. I'm gonna defend it. This game is called Train, Dovetail Games Train Simulator.
Yeah, 2017.
2017. This game is for people who are trained hobbyists. Now, like, I'm not a trained
Right,
hobbyist.
right. Remix. We
This is
talking
Sprite
to you.
Remix should be right here. Come on, Sprite.
Yeah, I'm not a trained hobbyist, but I do know people who are trained hobbyists. And believe it or not, trained hobbyists, the people who collect those model trains, the prices are ridiculous. As a matter of fact, the prices that you see for this DLC is about take that and add another multiply it by 10, and you're looking at the types of prices for some of the model trains and stuff like that. So really, I mean, this is a cheaper alternative to those types of people. This is specifically for that ultra hobbyist market that's for that. Now, for the average person, they're probably not going to buy a train simulator. But for someone who's a hobbyist and doesn't want to doesn't have this massive man cave basement to set up their train set. And I know people would say, isn't that a kid thing? No, I've seen some hobbyists where that shit looks like almost like a perfect model for like real life shit. It's much cheaper.
Hobby, people.
It's a serious hobby.
Cost
So $6,000, okay, to people who don't give a flying you know what or a rat's rear about trains, that is ridiculous. But to someone who would normally spend $60,000 on their train set, that's cheap.
Dude,
So,
all I gotta say is not everybody's name is Sheldon Cooper.
well, I mean, there's a lot of trained hobbyists, and kind of like how video game hobbyists, how we build. You know how video game hobbyists. Well, you know how video. you know how video game hobbies, we build our collections over time. Well, they do the same thing with their thing, except, let me put this. We have people, video gamers in our community who sell and trade systems like it's nothing. Here's where I'll give train enthusiasts credit. They don't trade shit. Like they got their original stuff.
Use it.
I mean, I wish you would go to a train enthusiast concert. I traded in this SR13 to get a TR7. They would laugh them out the thing. These people were like, I traded this in to get this. You're a poser. You're a poser if you do stuff like that. You broke peasant. Get out of here.
If you think video games are expensive, you should check out tabletop gaming.
Which
Also,
I have done. It is
if
way
you're an
cheaper.
airplane fan, like you fly those airplanes, oh my god, don't get me started on that.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
That's
like
a hobby. One of my buddies tried to get me into it.
Those high-end.
the high-end drones.
No, I was going to say those high-end.
That was even before drones came into the picture, dude. I'm
Oh, you're
talking
talking about the high-end
talking
airplane
about
models.
the actual
I'm talking about the
airplane,
high-end
airplanes
Gundams.
and jets and stuff.
I'm talking about those high-end Gundams from Japan. I remember when I went to an anime convention way back in the day, before they actually started localizing a lot of stuff, and they had some stuff from Japan, and I was like, "Oh, this is cool." And a friend of mine almost broke this Gundam, and the dude's like, "Hey, man, that's like $2,000." And the dude, like, my friend thought he was joking, but then we looked at the price tag, and even before bringing it over, it was 800 because this thing had like 800 moving parts and like intricate little things. I mean, I was like, God damn.
So did you have to build it yourself? Was it one of those assembly required things?
Well, that's the whole point. That's half the fun of those types of models. You build it yourself.
Okay. So, whoa, geez, moving parts. Ooh.
Yeah.
It's
Hey.
serious work. These
Guys,
guys
Make sure
well,
not to lose anything.
these guys would spend hundreds of hours on one model alone.
How big?
Go ahead.
How big are those things? How big is the?
These are scaled down to like this one was like
probably about 18 inches.
it was an eighth. it was an eighth of the size of a Gundam. So a Gundam, I don't know. I mean, it wasn't that big, but
small.
No, it was like an eighth of the size of a Gundam. But a Gundam
Was it the size of an average action figure?
No, it was bigger than that.
Bigger than that?
It
Okay.
was bigger than
No,
that.
you're talking, it
was
was
still-
18th scale, you mean?
It was it was around the size of one of those extra large GI Joes from back in the day.
Yeah, you the thing about building those, because they come with a lot of tiny pieces, you better not sneeze on this. You better.
That's what I said.
You better
It was
not cough. You
pieces.
better not sneeze.
Plus their
Better
pieces
not
that you have to
breathe.
glue on. You have to paint individual stuff. I mean, I don't have the patience for stuff like that. I'm gonna keep it real. I don't.
Well, hey guys, look, there's something else I want to bring up, and this is also a little controversial. It actually pissed me off today when I read about it, but Mass Effect Andromeda.
It's Ass Effect.
Now I'm not sure if you guys saw the article I posted. I think Kenoshi posted it first.
I'm early access game.
Yeah, but basically how they're treating games now like they're early access, basically betas, and it's like they do that on purpose with the intention of fixing them as they go on. And
So Bethesda gave them tips.
Yeah, but they've been doing this for 3 damn gens.
exactly, but here's my thing.
You're actually
Now,
coming out saying
now someone has actually come out and publicly said this, like, to our faces. Like, so what you're saying is you sold us a beta for full price with the quote unquote promise to fix it. You knew this thing had problems. You pretty much knew those problems were. You knew you did virtually no QA, and I'm supposed to still pay you full price for this thing, in addition to buy whatever DLC you may have for it. And then you may or may not fix it down the line. The reason I say may or may not because Battlefield 4 still hasn't been fixed. Assassin's Creed Unity still has bugs. Halo Mastery Collection is still broken. So they may say they're going to fix something, but once they line their pockets enough, they'll just be like, well, we'll go to the next game. Sorry. Just like what happened with Arkham City Origins.
Yeah, but they've been doing this for years.
Dr.
I mean,
EZA.
why complain now? I mean,
The doctor.
gamers,
It is EA. What do you expect they will do? Like EA has pulled some of the shadiest shit in gaming. Like, do you remember what these bastards wanted to charge for game demos?
Yeah, but I mean, like, here's the thing, and I'm gonna have to disagree with you, Country, on this one. They all have been doing it for years. Bethesda, 2K, EA, Activision, Microsoft. They've all been as long as these consoles become more PC, like they've all been releasing games that were in less than polished states. And then, well, we'll fix them after they come out as time goes on. It's just now they're telling to your face. I'm glad someone finally said it because for years gamers just accepted it. It's like, oh, it's. I mean, basically, gamers are like someone who lives in an apartment and your neighbor next door. You walk in and he's sleeping with your wife, and and you suspected it, but you never caught him. But now you caught him, and now everything's out in the open. Now we can all know that he's the asshole that we thought he was.
I mean, but Mr. Red Fox, but see, this is the part that this is what really, well, this is my response to it. And of course, I think with Keith Norris, and shout out to him. Like, of course, we had our little spat, but nothing disrespectful. And he has point of view, and I agree with some of it, but disagree with other parts. But my thing was, I said straight up, the ones who blame for this are not the publishers and developers.
Nope.
It's the consumers.
Yep.
And I said, you bastards have been buying incomplete games for 2 gens now. You've been buying broken games for over 2 gens. You've been buying annualized iterations for 2 gens. Now you're getting this. Even Konami sold your ass a damn demo. So you can't complain. I said honestly, you can't complain. If you're wondering why this is happening, it's because of you. And then Keith Norris' response was, and shout out to him, he said it's not the consumer's fault. I'm like, yes, it is. Yes,
Yep.
the developer and publisher put that shit out there. I agree. They're the ones that did it. But you don't have to buy anything someone makes.
Yep. I mean, think of it like this, okay? Let's say you went to a restaurant, okay?
I
And
use it. Hold on. I use that example. I said, so if you went to a restaurant and you got food poisoning, let's say you went there. Let's say it's your favorite restaurant. You went there 3 times in a row. You got food poison. Or you're gonna keep going back and paying money to be poisoned? Of course you're not.
actually, I was gonna take it a step further. Let's say you went to a restaurant, okay, and you got soup, and you look down at your soup, and there's a curly hair in your soup.
Ah,
Now
really?
you look at this hair, and you
Oh,
look at this hair, and you're like, you know what? I don't like the fact that there's this curly hair from a questionable place on someone's body in my soup, but I'm gonna eat it anyway because I want to eat this soup. I'm really hungry. Gamers have done this multiple times for like 2, 3 gens at this point. And now they want to have outrage. Wait a second. There's a curly hair that may or may not be a pubic hair in my soup. Why are you complaining now? You've been eating this shit for 2, 3 gens.
Can I say something? I think gamers have become the worst kind of yes man you can ever have. Like that guy that you could just flat out beat the shit out of, and he will still do whatever you say.
Yep.
Like, I mean, gamers have lost gamers have lost their dignity so in such a way that it's kind of sad. Like, seeing the state of the gaming community these days, like as long as something is popular, they will just bandwagon and defend it. Like, I sometimes question if they even have opinions of their own.
You mean they're stooges? Like the Three Stooges? You mean that they'll just you can beat the shit out of them like Curly, and they just keep on coming back for more?
oh Lord, he said curly.
I mean, Curly did get the shit slapped out of him a lot of times. A chain run over his, a jigsaw run over his head, or maybe even Larry's is a good example. Get your hair ripped out, get slapped for no reason, but you still go along with him.
Yeah, the minion from Despicable Me. Like those are like the perfect example of what the gaming community has become. To be honest,
Fair enough, but at least those minions were useful. I mean, like the minions that are gamers now, just they're like those. It's like Animal Party. It's like Animal Party where they have the fraternity thing, and this guy is getting slapped on the ass with a wooden paddle, and it's like you have to say thank you, sir. May I have another? That's gamers now. Yeah, just keep on taking advantage of me. I don't care.
And I sometimes question where this mindless Nintendo hate come from. These two, just to be honest, like the only company actually putting out good game, like good non-bullshit complete games, yet they get flack for stupid reasons,
They're
like
not popular.
copyright, graphics, not next gen, stuff like that, gimmicks.
Well, I mean, every console has gimmicks. I mean, right now, the Xbox One Scorpio's gimmick is that they're the most powerful console on the market thus far, because Sony's probably going to come out with some shit the next year. Oh, you thought that was the
No, but
PS4 Pro? No, we got
no,
something better. It's called
but
the
so,
PS4. It's called the PS XR.
no, but Sony shot themselves in the foot with the PS4 Pro. Like that was kind of a shitty upgrade. Like he had the jumping graphics weren't that much, and it just didn't justify one switching from a normal PS4 to the Pro unless you have 4K TV, and even that the difference wasn't that much.
Yeah, but here's the thing: if you have a 4K TV and a PS4, your 4K TV is still going to automatically upres whatever you put to it to 4K. Like even if it's not 4K, it's going to upres it to 4K. So even if you do have a 4K TV, like like a PS4 Pro is irrelevant. Like the only reason Sony put out the PS4 Pro was to keep the PS4 relevant because they saw sales were slowing down, which is weird because they need to be worrying about getting their first party software sales up instead of worrying about install base. But that makes
Yeah,
sense.
that actually. I want to ask you something, Mr. Redford, because I bought Persona 5 and the game is really, really amazing. How much did it sold?
I don't know.
I want, I want to,
Not a clue.
I want to find out because I've been addicted to that game since yesterday. It is. I think it became a part of my holy triforce of favorite games. Like it is
Well,
that good.
I mean, this is Atlas, and Atlas doesn't make bad games. So, I mean, I don't know. Probably not. It has not sold that much. I mean, but Atlas budgets their games really well. They budget their games so that they make profit if they sell like 1 million in Japan. So everything above that is just gravy. So
Yeah, because the PS4 has a really horrible RPG attach rate.
yeah, but you have to remember it's also on the PS3. So I mean, like
And that's exactly where I plan on getting it. Where the mandatory download, I think it's like only 3 or 4 gigs. I can deal with that.
yeah. So I mean, like and to be fair, they had to do that because, like I said, Atlas. I mean, this is a hardcore RPG, and people look. The PS4 don't believe the unit ship bullshit that Sony likes to throw out. PS4 probably has an install pace of like 35, 40 million at this point. Um, Persona 4 is probably only going to sell maybe 1.2, 1.5 million in America. In Japan, it's probably sold. If you combine the PS3 and PS4, maybe 1 million, 1.5. So in total, over its life cycle, it'll probably sell 3 million. And listen, it probably was profitable at 1 million for Atlas because they know how to budget their games, which is smart because you wanna budget something so that you make ends meet with the lowest possible sell rate as humanly possible. So everything else above that is just gravy. So that's profit, which is something that a lot of game companies don't understand these days.
Doctor, I wanted to put out like a topic in this podcast, if I will. Should companies cater to internet fan base when making games, or should companies ignore internet fan bases when making games?
I think they should do what Nintendo does. Nintendo doesn't care about the internet fan base; they care about their loyal fans. The
They care about
Switch,
people who buy games.
the
Because
Switch. Believe it or not, I've been seeing, a few people like, they finally made a console for everybody. I said no. Actually, Nintendo made a console for their loyal fans. It appeals to other people, but because it's a it thing to have, Nintendo just follows the trend of people want small devices to carry with them. But believe it or not, the Switch is an old school gamer's console.
Yep.
Plain and simple. It's for their fans because think about it, this game only launched for one big killer app, Zelda. And guess what? Everyone that got one, goddamn Zelda. And
Yep.
guess what? When Mario Kart 8 launches, I'm telling you, at least half the folks that got a Switch are gonna pick up Mario Kart 8.
yeah, Mario Kart always sells like a real lot,
I'm not
and
going that far.
in every console because I seen top 10 software sold in each gen, and Mario Kart is either number one or number two on the best sell games from that generation. Like Mario Kart Wii sold gangbusters.
Yeah, but the Wii also had an install base of
Eh,
at that time like 80 million.
Double Dash sold like it was. I think I know that Mario Kart 8 was number one on the Wii U. Mario Kart DS was number two with New Super Mario Brothers. The first one was the most sell game on the DS. I Mario Kart Double Dash was number two. I think Melee was the best selling GameCube game. Mario Kart
Uh,
Mario Kart it just sells a lot. That's all I can say.
guys, I'm gonna have to cut it short because Max has a call of nature.
Nature
All right, man.
calls.
Yeah, you know how it is, man. He's getting
Well, go ahead.
impatient.
Well, go ahead and go, Ace Ventura.
All right, alrighty then.
Bye, Quan.
Peace.
Later, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what I would honestly say to that, man, is, I mean, Nintendo listened to third parties and they listened to fans, and what did they get them?
Um,
Like, why I say not? Why let me rephrase that? They listen to the internet, the rumblings. When I look at the Switch, they're not listening to everyone. They're listening to the ones that basically bought their games, that bought the Wii U, that bought the Wii. They're listening to them because on the Wii, there were a select group of fans that they got Project Rainfall to come over. Got those games to come over here, and that's why those same people are getting what this year? Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
Yeah, I'm one of those Project Rainfall Operation Rainfall supporters. So
And
believe
then, I
me,
mean,
I'm
when
hyped
I
for
look at Xenoblade
Xenoblade.
Chronicles X on the Wii U, I mean that game hasn't sold 2, 3, 4 million units, but somehow, some way, they are continuing.
W-
They're
Well,
continuing with them. So to me,
well,
it's
to
they're
to
listening
be
to their true fans.
To be honest, at least for me, this is just my opinion. Xenoblade Chronicle S was the weakest out of the two Xenoblade, so I kind of understand why it didn't so like the first one, but it was still a good game.
first one didn't
I
sell
love
that
Xenoblade
well.
Chronicles.
I just feel Xenoblade Chronicles X like the I don't know I didn't like the story. I didn't feel the story in that game.
Oh, that's fair enough. But the first Xenoblade Chronicles didn't sell that well either.
Yeah, well, yeah. Well, how much did he sell? Because I don't think I ever knew
I
the.
think sales wise, I think they both have comparable sales, which makes the first Xenoblade Chronicles more of a failure because it was on a bigger install base. Like when you think about the fact that Xenoblade Chronicles X has sold, I want to say 1.2, 1.3 million on a 13.5, 14 million install base. It's pretty respectable. The original Xenoblade Chronicles sold around that same amount on $100 million install base.
Yeah, but
That's
you
pathetic.
but you also have to take into consideration Xenoblade Chronicles came at practically the end of the Wii U, like the real end of the Wii lifespan. Like
Yeah, I mean,
So
I understand that, but that's no excuse because let's let's look at another game that came at the end of a console's life cycle that's the highest selling non-Mario platformer ever. Donkey Kong Country came near the end of the SNES, and guess what? Like I said, it's the
But
second highest.
to add to what you said, Red, if you think about Xenoblade Chronicles X, that was released in December of 2015 in America, at least. Here we are in just now April of 2017. That's a little over a year after. So that's still, in a sense, at the end of the Wii U's life cycle, more or less, or at least towards the end.
Yeah, I mean,
no,
I'm
And
just
it's still moved
simply saying
up to the
that.
unit. So I agree with you. Like, I mean, you're right. I mean, comparing the two, Xenoblade X so way better than the first game, and like the first game, it came near the middle end slash end of life cycle of a floundering console.
Yeah, I mean, and let's keep it real. Xenoblade Chronicles X came at the original Xenoblade Chronicles. Like it originally wasn't going to be released in America. When it finally came to America, it sold like I think if you combine the sales of Japan and the US, it maybe went to 1.8, which isn't bad for a new IP because it was a new IP. But I mean, on 100 million install base, I mean, that
That's a
should
little
have sold
lacking.
way more.
actually, the Wii U had a really good like the Wii U has something the GameCube didn't. Like the GameCube had it, but not to an extent. A good attach software attach rate.
No, the GameCube has. I think the GameCube still has one of the highest attach rates of
It
any
is the
console.
highest. I think it's actually 10 to 1 per
Now the
console
Wii U
sold.
is second for Nintendo consoles though, because
Yeah,
people really love their Wii U. But
I think Wii U was like 7 games per console. GameCube was 10. So
yep.
GameCube still has pretty much the highest attach rate of any
Well,
console out there.
I didn't knew that, so I apologize if I made a stupid mistake like there. I'm
Nah,
sorry.
man,
No,
you
you're fine.
just nah, man. Look, listen. The thing is like this is like our hobby, and we know like a lot about it because we remember when people were like, man, the Wii U has no games. It's like, but I'm looking at my Wii U, and I've got like a stack of games for it, and I look at my hard drive for it, my digital games. I've got like pages full of games. I don't like where are you getting this? I don't have any games to play from because I don't.
It's mostly a buzzword, like those typical insult people that know nothing about will regurgitate just so they can appear knowledgeable. Like they,
Now,
it, I'm trying to find a good example.
Now, I will say this much though: there are times where games are out, but you have no interest in them, and that's fair because there are tons of games on the PS4 and the Xbox One that I don't give a flying you know what about. Like,
You talking to me like when I bought Persona 5, that was like a rare time, like in a 1.5 year when I finally hyped for a damn PS4 game.
all right,
And
but
I was like, oh my god! Finally, I get to play this console after this long hiatus. So I understand that, yeah, games are coming out for like you said, but not a lot of them interest me in that console, like the PS4.
well, I mean, yeah, I mean, but that doesn't mean games aren't coming out. It's just not interesting to you. Now, I mean, like I said, the Wii U was a great console, and it didn't get the support it deserved. It didn't get the reputation it deserved because you know, people love to hate on the console. So, what are you gonna do?
Getting it now, I tell you that people are looking all over the Wii U's.
Oh yeah, yeah. People are like, man, I want a Wii U so I can play Breath of the Wild because I want to get a Switch for it. Like, you should have got one years ago, son. Like really, I think Breath of the Wild just on the Wii U alone has sold 2 million. Everything. I think maybe once we get the financials in, guess the end of next month, maybe the end of this month, maybe. We'll be able to see that like maybe I think maybe it's sold maybe 2.5, 3 million on the Wii U alone, and definitely 1 point. They said 1.5 as of the last numbers they reported on the Switch. That game sold gangbusters. Except, and
What?
I feel sorry for those people who sold their Wii U for some other shit, and then they're like, man, and don't have a Switch. Man, you're SOL, son.
Well,
Oh,
there's
it,
one more thing I want to bring up, like quickly before we end the podcast in the next few minutes. But the news regarding Square Enix considering what games to bring or port to the Switch. How you guys feel about that?
They're a bunch of lying cheats.
um, I mean, look, there's a ton of games that they should bring over just on GP. Like they
Final
need to
Fantasy
bring
13.
over what? Final Fantasy 13. Can I? Well, I have a word. I have something to respond to that. Fuck and no. But no. They need to bring Dragon Quest X localized, like translated into English, to the system. Which I think they're already porting that shit over to the Switch in Japan, but they need to
I want
localize it.
I want the Final Fantasy VII remake on the Switch and
Fuck no.
Kingdom Hearts 3.
Fuck no.
I want fucking Kingdom Hearts 3 in the Switch.
Look, I'll tell you what. If they bring Kingdom Hearts 3 to the Switch, then they better bring the whole fucking trilogy and not just one damn game. Because here's the problem with them putting Kingdom Hearts 3 on the Switch. There was no Kingdom Hearts 2 or 1 on a Nintendo console. So the audience for that game is not going to really be interested in it if they're Nintendo gamers, because they never had the game. And I know, I mean, a lot of people here are like, I'm a multi-console owner, but a lot of people who own Nintendo consoles aren't. So, and you know, like I mean, I've said this before, gamers want to be comfortable, and they like the unknown is uncomfortable. So, what was I about to say? Yeah, essentially speaking, it's, I mean, like I said, Dragon Quest X. Clearly, they're bringing Dragon Quest XI over. It's not official, but you know, if they're putting on the 3DS and the PS4, you know, they're probably working on a Switch version. I mean, there's a lot of games that Square Enix has in their portfolio that they should bring over. Will they? That's the big question. And will it be localized? Because there's a lot of shit that they'll bring over to a Nintendo console in Japan, but it won't go worldwide. Nintendo has to do the heavy fucking lifting, which is not cool. But what are you gonna do? You know.
Actually, do you think Final Fantasy 15 can be localized on the Switch? Like,
Look, man. Look. Okay, I understand where you're going, but let's
Red
keep
Fox
it
don't
real.
want that damn game.
Anyone who wants to play that game already has it on the PS4, or they're gonna get it on PC. Final Fantasy has been away from the Nintendo consoles for too goddamn long for it to really do well on a Nintendo console. Now, if they want to do like a Final Fantasy collection, if they want to do the shit where they did on the PS4, where they re-released the Final Fantasy games on the digital storefront in order to get people back into it, and then maybe a year and a half, 2 years after that, bring it over. Okay, with some extra features, all right, cool. But you can't just throw Final Fantasy 15 on the Switch and expect it to do well. We have to look at this not just as fans, but also as these people are trying to make money. Okay.
I agree. Like you say, it's been gone too long. It probably wouldn't sell well initially because we haven't had it on Nintendo console. So it's kind of we're coming from nowhere. It'll be kind of like a new IP again in a sense.
Yep.
yeah, but Final
So,
Fantasy 15 is also a game that wanted to bring back people into Final Fantasy. So it's a great starting point
no,
for
No,
people
no,
that
it's not.
have.
No, I like the
no,
game, but no, it's not a good starting point. You look at the history of
no,
Final Fantasy. This is not a
no.
great starting point. This would be more like a reboot of the whole
Yeah.
franchise, but it's
Yep.
not a great starting point to harken back to the old days. It
Let
is
me put it this way. Let me put it this way. I'm the person that Final Fantasy 15 claimed they were aiming for. I've been playing Final Fantasy since the shit started. Final Fantasy 15 is a fucking mockery of that. It's embarrassing. I find it offensive that the dude's like, yeah, this is really going to bring people back. Fuck you. This game is nothing like the Final Fantasies I grew up with.
No,
Oh yeah,
it's gonna be the Final Fantasy VII remake. That's what's gonna bring people back.
no.
But I do. But
They want to bring back people like me. Here's what they need to do. Stop focusing so much on graphics. Focus more on story. I don't want to play a game where, oh, well, we're going to add extra playable characters in a Final Fantasy game after the fact, an extra story. Make a complete game day one, because old school Final Fantasies did that. You had the whole game the first time when it was released.
No, I know.
Give me a party to control, not a fucking douchebag and his friends that you can kind of give weird commands to.
Hey,
Give
I don't
me a
bring you back
fantastic
completely.
world to explore. Give me other playable characters. Let me play as different people. Typical Final Fantasy things.
But Red, I know it will bring you back for real without a second damn question. A remaster for modern consoles, remastered, fully realized in glorious 3D, Final Fantasy VI and Chrono Trigger.
Yes, that would. Yes, that would. Yes,
That,
that would.
that'll take Mr. Red Fox from, fuck you, Square Enix, to what do you want? What do you want me? How should I get on my knees for you?
No. I would still be fuck you, Square Enix. They'd be like, fuck you. What took you so long? This is all I wanted. What took you so goddamn long, motherfucker?
Well, though, when it comes to, and let me just go over this real quick before we end. When it comes to remasters and games like that, that's the one thing I think. Actually, the only thing companies should do. You remastering games that came out 2, 3, 4 years ago. What you really should be doing is bringing back those NES games and bringing them to life in full 3D.
Yep.
Like I would love to see, like for example, I would love to see Final Fantasy VI, Chrono Trigger, games like that brought back in 3D games in the NES and Super NES. I would love to see that. I would love to see Streets of Rage brought back in 3D fashion, or heck, it can still be 2D, and just really up-res it and give it like a modern look. I mean,
Yep.
it can be the same game. Just give me real buildings, make it look modern and up to date. But I would like that. But you keep trying to remaster shit that came out 4 years ago, and it was
Mhm.
HD back then. Give us the shit that it used to be. That today it was pixelated.
Come on,
It
don't
was
be
right.
hating on my Last of Us.
I want to. I want a Final Fantasy IX remaster. I will totally buy that with a second thought.
Well, they do. It's called Final Fantasy 9 on PC.
Screw
That's your
you.
remaster.
Screw you.
That no, really, that is a remaster because it's in higher definition. You have tons of options to make it even better than it is on any console. Yeah.
Oh, before I forget, did you guys see that NBA Playgrounds trailer?
Oh yeah. And the one good thing, EA has fucking nothing to do with it.
I'm
Oh
so
god.
happy. Dude, when I
I'm
saw
so
that,
happy.
I literally want to take out my N64 and play Hang Time or my Dreamcast and play NBA Showtime. I was like, thank you
So
for going to realism.
who's publishing the game?
I don't know.
I'm
But
hoping it's someone that's not a big publisher unless it's Nintendo.
yeah, here's my suspicion though. I think that when NBA Live with EA kind of went down the shitter, and the new NBA commissioner came in, I think that they renegotiated some of those deals, and I think they cut a license to these people because this game's going to be $20, and it's basically the successor to NBA Jam. And EA, you could have had it if you had stopped trying to compete with 2K because you're not going to take the sim game away from them.
But you know what's so funny about that though? I read a comment on YouTube, of course. Somebody in the comments, there's always at least one of them, says that game looks effing childish. No thanks. And I'm thinking to myself, so let me get this straight. Well, let me ask you a question. Do you realize that game consoles are children's toys? They're children's electronics. So here you are having a complex about playing a kitty-looking game, even though it's a basketball game. I hate to say this, but NBA Jam and NBA Live back then and Charles Barkley Shut Up and Jam, those games didn't look hyper realistic. They didn't make you feel like a man. And then someone else said, "Oh my gosh, why have to bring back the big heads? They could have made this game and not have big heads." I say that's part of the comedic appeal of it, so you can actually see the detail on their faces, but in a comedic kind of way.
The
So
only thing
yes,
that would make it, the only thing that would make this game better is if they got the voice from the guy from NBA Jam, and he was allowed to say "Boom Shakalaka." That's the
no,
only
not only
thing that's
that.
missing.
No. There's one thing to make it better. If they got some of the people as characters from the original games, like Mark, was it Mark Turmoil?
I don't know, man. It's been
You
a
know,
while since
they
I
used to,
played it.
and then like Air Dog and stuff like that have Bill Clinton. I remember those codes. I used to use them.
Oh
Hillary
yeah,
Clinton.
and you
If
could
they
get
brought that back, I'd be
the
glad.
acclaim iguana as a playable character.
Exactly.
So, guys, I have a question, a side question. What's the benefit from having the rubber suit aside from having the thunder helm?
Well, the
Both
Thunder Helm
around.
doesn't go with the rubber suit. The rubber suit increases your shot resistance, and I think when you upgrade it, it makes you immune to like not immune, but highly resistant to electricity. The Thunder Helm makes you totally immune. Like you can put it on the thunderstorm, get hit all day, it doesn't do shit. It's great.
Oh, okay, okay.
But it
Yeah,
has
'cause I
shitty
just got.
stats. But that's the only.
Oh, yeah. I got the. I just got the thunder helm, and I was thinking about. Do I actually really need to get the rubber suit?
Yes, yes, you do. No, I'm joking, man.
Well, there you have it. Breath of the Wild consuming us all day. I'm not gonna get into that. I can talk about this game for 3 hours. My wife is playing right now as we speak. To be honest,
I sh-
I'm playing.
but
I turned it on while we were talking. I'm talking to Kilton, this creepy bastard.
Doctor, have you played like? Have you guys played Persona 5?
no, I'm gonna pick up Persona 5 next week for the PS3.
Yeah, I
I
tried
do want a
Actually,
playing.
collector's edition, but since the PS3 doesn't have one in America, I said it's fine.
I
I'll get
tried
the regular
playing.
edition.
I tried playing Persona Emblem, and I just couldn't get into it. So.
I played about 5 minutes of it at a friend's house. It's a good game.
I am completely in love with this game. Like I played it nonstop. I think I'm in the third dungeon, in the third palace.
I mean, dude, if you've been playing Persona games for years, Persona games are always good. They don't. They're always really good. Like
I
there
just
isn't
love.
a bad Persona game.
I love the theme of this game, like Phantom TV, and I like the main character design from this game a lot. I even made him my avatar in my PlayStation Network account.
Well, if you ever get a chance, my advice to you is to go play some of the earlier games like Persona
I,
4 or Persona 3.
Actually, I played Persona 3, 4, and this.
Well, there you go. Then you would know it's a good game.
No, it's amazing. I love. I think three. I like three the least because of the whole. There's only one dungeon in the game thing, but it was still a great game nonetheless.
But we'll go ahead and end it here tonight. This is just one. I just want to have a short one given the Scorpi-ho news. But anyway, I do want to thank you guys for tuning in, and I want to thank you guys mostly for coming. There's still going to be an OGAL this Sunday. If nothing comes up, I do have a live one. It happens. Well, go ahead and give your sign offs, guys.
Well, this is Kanashi Nito here to say that I have a podcast tomorrow discussing about what people really want. It seems like they get what they want and they're not happy with it, or maybe they just didn't really think about what they wanted. I'll be talking about ukulele and the S storm that ensued with the reviews and maybe comparing it to Star Fox Zero. If anybody's interested in joining that cast tomorrow,
Well, what the hell happened with ukulele reviews?
it hasn't been getting its reviews have been less than stellar.
That's not entirely true. It's been getting 6 and 7s, which is okay. It's a little bit above.
But I'm speaking from the standards, these ridiculous standards that most gamers get. You won't buy a game
Oh,
unless
yeah.
it's like a
Oh,
9
yeah.
or a
Oh, you,
10.
oh, you mean the ones that when they feel a game is a 10 and it gets a 9, they pitch a bitch and do put in a damn request to have
No,
it.
no, I'm talking about the gamers that are like, oh, this game's a 6 and 7. It's trash.
I'm not buying it.
I'm
Like,
not
here's the
buying it.
thing, okay? It is essentially a modern N64 platformer. Those games weren't perfect back then. I mean, I enjoy them, I love them, but they were never perfect. And you accepted that. That was part of the allure of the title. So people just need to calm down, take a deep breath, because I'm buying the game twice. I'm getting it first on PC because I'm not. I don't think it's coming to PS3. Maybe it is. I don't know. But I'm getting it on PC, and then I'm gonna get it on the Switch when it comes to the Switch. I'm gonna double dip on that son of a bitch. So
All
I'll
right.
That's
think
because
I'll think I'll wait for your ukulele to be on the Switch.
yeah, I'm gonna double dip. I said fuck it. I'm gonna go twice.
Well, go ahead and get your sign off, Contrarian.
Well, I am the contrarian bastard. My title is like the undisputed king of popular opinions. But I had a lot of fun in this chat. Sorry if I didn't speak as much as I wanted to. Being kind of tired, like physically, but it was a great cast. Like I always love speaking my mind with all you guys. That's all I can say.
All right,
We're
man. Thanks for
glad you could
coming.
join us.
And Mr. Red Fox.
It's me, Mr. Red Fox, owner proprietor of BS Busters. You know who I am. I'll be having another BS Busters this Saturday at 7 o'clock to 8:30. It's going to be short to the point. We're going to be talking about just random stuff, mostly should the Game Boy die, and if it does, what would replace it? That type of stuff. Just a lot of speculation and random stuff. People hating certain movies that other people loved, and vice versa. It's gonna be random. Have fun. You guys are invited to join because these random casts get random as hell. So
I said I'll be. I think I'll be there.
all right, always good to have someone there.
All right. And it's your host, Dr. Feelgood. Thank you once again for tuning in, guys, to all the viewers. I really appreciate it. And also keep in mind, you're more than welcome to submit questions. If you ever want to be on the OGAL, just let me know. Anyone is welcome. No matter if you love Nintendo, hate Nintendo, hate Sony, Microsoft, I don't care. If you're a PC guy, if you want to cast your opinion, you're more than welcome to attend. And be on the lookout for the OGL number 5 this Sunday. If nothing comes up, I will be dropping a few video prescription videos about these and some other topics if nothing comes up. And as I always say, keep it gaming.